to interrupt to be opening a minion blind bag. So here it is, and let's open it. Yeah.
And once I actually get a computer, we'll be using this bad boy. And of course I'll be needing a mouse and a monitor and all that stuff, but I will get it. And then I will buy a microphone and a camera, like an actual camera.
You spend more time here than you do at your own house. You haven't even moved yet. We're moving tomorrow. So I have a vision. With that being said, the Cryptic Miner. We can do so many cool things with that name. If I could so please have your attention for a few moments. I'd like to ask you a question. Not you specifically, but the audience as a whole. How does one start such a video? Do they begin with a montage of some of the greatest videos on the channel, some of the most important, beginning, middle, and end, goals that were set and then eventually reached? Or do they just simply start talking to the camera as if no time has passed? And I suppose that's a rhetorical question. Let me make sure I'm using that word properly. Rhetorical question meaning...
Here's the definition of rhetorical question. A question asked in order to create a dramatic effect or to make a point rather than to get an answer.
Turns out I was using it properly. But nonetheless, I'm still quite literally wondering how one begins this video. I think I know how. I'm going to do quite a cool montage video intro, but it's not going to be like the others. It's going to be eerie.
All of you who are watching, I need your help. Every time I upload a video, one of my old videos from the bottom gets deleted. Oh, we got a fan art, boys.
What is that?
Oh my god, who's that?
So if anybody's confused, today is July 17th, 2005. Nope, that's not right. And I gotta throw some humor in there, otherwise this video is just gonna be dry and bland. Let's try that again. Today is July 17th, 2025. And thus, 10 years ago, on this day, July 17th, 2015, 10 years ago today, I made the channel and posted my very first video.
Subscribe on the bottom. And yeah, I'll see you guys again with Dave the Minion. Bye.
Minions was a big movie coming out. And blind bags were a big thing that were out. So when those two crossed together, I just had to collect them non-stop. I don't know why. I think I lost them in the next day. Maybe the next week if I was lucky. Never really used them for much. Anyway, I decided, for whatever reason, that would be my very first YouTube video. Not sure why. It's no longer on the channel. It's deleted. But that was my very first YouTube video. And I wish it was still up. In 2018, I thought YouTube was deleting my videos because I had too many. I decided to delete a bunch so I could keep making videos. Turns out, they just updated the channel pages. There was this new way where you had to view your channel and access it on Dashboard, which is a computer, to make it look professional and clean. Otherwise, it would all be hidden, and all you had to do was click more videos, and it would show you the whole catalog. Guys, I was like 9, 8 years old. Cut me some slack, please. So those are gone. Few others. But that doesn't change the fact that my second or third video is in fact Slivel War trailers. Trailers or trailer? Trailers. I was right. Anyway, that is in fact my second or third video ever uploaded to YouTube. Yeah, I went a year in between without posting another video. I made more videos, I just didn't upload all of them. Nowadays, I can't do that anymore. All this to say, this is the channel's 10th anniversary and the channel's very first decade, which is so strange to think about. The thing that I'm struggling with the most right now, guys, is if you look back 10 years ago, obviously I was a kid, but even as I progressively grew, you look at like 2017, 2018, I still looked quite significantly different in the span of just 10 years. What the freak am I going to look like in another 10 years? 2035 will be the channel's 20th anniversary. 20 years of doing YouTube. But yeah, I've been on the platform for 10 years. I've been a YouTuber for 10 years now, and it's, I mean, some of you guys are just getting here, and yeah, a lot of people, again, are likely wondering why I'm still making videos, even though we've made such, I don't want to say small, I'd say
non-swiftness progress.
It was never really about that. Ever since 2017 or 18, it's always just been about just posting because I felt like it. If I was doing something cool or fun, I had to film it. If it was fireworks or camping, a new game coming out, anything, a new Lego set, I just had to film it. I needed to film it because it was almost like I was documenting everything, and I just needed to post the whole thing, everything, 24/7. And then 2019 rolled around, and I just started focusing on topic content. So like, instead of it just being a mixed bag of everything, it was vlogs, it was Lego videos, it was gaming videos, and that was pretty much it. Maybe 4 or 5 reviews, maybe. But it wasn't until 2022 that I finally, I was like, okay, this is why I'm making videos, 100%. This is the reason. And it's a pretty damn good reason, I will say. But I've never really had anything. I can't really say I've had this one thought, this one objective that's kept me doing YouTube for 10 years, a whole decade. I only actually found out about the partner program end of 2021, I'd say. I didn't even know it existed. I didn't know that there was a threshold that you had to reach to get in and start making money. I genuinely just thought if you had massive amounts of numbers, you were just making money. So there's that, you know. I know that doesn't help anybody who's trying to do content right now and is struggling. The best thing I can say is just have fun. Like I said, I spent 5 or 6 years doing YouTube without ever knowing about view counts or metrics that you had to reach, eligibility to get monetized on YouTube. I had no clue. So, and I was still making videos almost pretty much every single day, like 5 a day back then. I was crazy back in those days. That was before I had to edit videos and then they take hours to save. But nowadays it's much more apparent. Everybody on YouTube, everybody and their dog who's making a how to get views channel is always talking about, oh, you need 4,000 watch time hours and 1,000 subscribers to get into the YouTube partner program, which is correct. Well, no, that's not correct. That's how you get AdSense. To get into the partner program, you need 3,000 watch time hours and 500 subscribers, which is pretty good. Watch time should be dropped a bit more than that. By whom am I the judge? But overall, everybody who's making a how to grow your channel or how to get more subscribers channel, click here now and sign up to my program, which costs $100 a month. Limited time deal to get 2 cents off. Everybody who's making those types of channels now is always mentioning and throwing it into your face the threshold and eligibility to get in and start making money. So everybody knows about it now because we live in a time now where kids are born and then they reach 7 years old and they want to be YouTubers. Back in my day, I know. Sounds strange, but hear me out. In 2016, 17, you get beat up for wanting to be a YouTuber or having a channel. You'd actually have the big school bully coming after you. That's why me and Isaac, when we had our YouTube channels, we were like keeping it in a tight-knit circle. Can't have anybody else knowing, otherwise they're gonna try and delete it. Can't tell them. But nowadays we need to promote that stuff. We need to tell people and get it out and let everybody know, hey, look at my channel. It wasn't like that back then. But now it is. Now more people are wanting to be creators more than ever. So now it's more apparent and more needed for channels to be out there and teaching people how to be a YouTuber. Do I agree with all their advice that they're coming out with these days? Not all of it, but a good portion of it is good. Like, I trust vidIQ. I use them all the time for knowledge, updates. But not everything they say is something that I always agree with. But I will say their tools are quite helpful. It's typically in the free version, which is the only one I use. It's typically just stuff that's already on the YouTube dashboard, YouTube Studio dashboard. But it's quick access, so it saves time, which is good. They also have AI things in there, which is I used to use a lot, but I don't use at all anymore. But it might help some of you. Anyway, if I started doing YouTube today, and I would struggle getting to 10 years now, especially as a gaming YouTuber. It's one of the hardest topics to get noticed on YouTube because it's the largest topic on YouTube. I'm pretty sure, at least top 3. Vlogging might be top, maybe challenges, I don't know, we'll see. But honestly, my advice is just to have fun with it and don't focus on the numbers too heavily. Yes, it's what you need, and you can check up on it every now and again. It's like oil in a car. You check it every now and again, and if it's low, then you refill it. But you don't want to overfill it because then it can be bad. So there's a nice metaphor for you guys if you need it, if you understand it. That is, hopefully. Cheers. actually not that bad. Time and time again, people start YouTube channels and they don't see this massive amounts of growth, and then they feel like they failed. And it's all downhill. It's abandoned ship. Forget about it. But that's not true. I've had videos start off with as low as 2 views. And today be it 1,000 views. I'll put on some examples on screen if you'd like. Then and now. And yeah, it's true. Sometimes it just takes a bit of time for the algorithm to reach the correct audience. Sometimes it never will. That's why you gotta keep posting videos on and on and on. Because eventually one of them will find the correct audience. And that could be it for you. That could be your biggest viral moment. It could be a small pinch. It could be a whole bucket of progress. It could be whatever. Like the Hello Guest video did for me. I will never forget that. Everything changed after that. It was crazy. So that's all my advice for everybody out there who's starting videos. How I got here was being completely oblivious to the YouTube Partner Program. I had no clue. And then once I did find out, I just didn't care about getting there. I just wanted to start doing big goals for the sake of this channel and not income. And then 2023 came around, and I told myself, this is the year where I need to really lock in, because high school was coming to an end. And I said, if I give 2023 my absolute all, I have 2 spares in a semester, and one class is, English, the other is a pretty difficult class, but I can manage it. If I can give YouTube my all and just really go crazy for this entirety of this year and see what I can do. Settle. We're no longer moving houses. We're staying here. This is the time. Get every vision item, which, if you're new here, the vision items were just basic improvements of the channel. It's basically a goal that I had since 2017. You saw it in the montage where I said I'm going to need a camera and a mic and a monitor, computer, and then we'll edit and get on with the proper way of doing YouTube, which I don't really believe that anymore, but that's basically it. And we did that. We got a camera, we got a computer, we got a mic, which is still the craziest thing to me. And then these panels behind you and this light. That's pretty much it. I got all these items and I mashed them together to create a year where I said, okay, this is the year we'll do everything. We will give it our absolute all. And if it doesn't work out, we're in trouble. Channel's going to have to take a backseat. But if I do succeed, well, we might have something. And then 2023 became the biggest year on the channel. And that was just from putting out top tier content at that time, in that era, and you guys supporting it. And that was the craziest thing ever. And then after that year ended, I told myself, people are going to think it's luck, aren't they? They're going to think, oh, this video right here, it did so well, and that's where you got all this success from. So I said, we'll do it again. Guys are awesome. Thought I'd do a quick little surprise for you guys. We're gonna die painfully, horribly, tragically, unforgettably, historically. We're starting this channel's very first hardcore series, but bigger, and we'll get even more this time. We'll do the exact same thing as 2023 in 2024, but bigger, and we'll get more. And we did. So kind of demolish those crazy thoughts, but nonetheless, I kind of proved that it's still possible. If you give it your absolute all, you put every effort into it and time. I realize not a lot of people can do that because they have jobs, family, all sorts of stuff, and I understand that fully. And that sucks. I don't have a second option for that, because I've never been in that situation before. I'm going to be soon, but I've never Like, I'm at a point now where I can pre-record videos and schedule them for certain days of the week if I have a busy work schedule. And that's how I'd manage that. That might not work for you, though. If it does, awesome. You should definitely do that. Pre-record videos on the weekend, 5 or 6 little videos if you can, or big ones if you got time. Wake up early in the day, and then schedule them throughout the week, and then repeat on the weekend, and so on and so forth. But again, some people work all 7 days of the week, which is insane to me. Some people only have 1 day off, and you're really going to spend it doing more work? Well, when do you rest? So it's a whole thing, right? It's a whole thing. But if you really want it and you really want to do it, then you got to think of something. There has to be something. And again, I'm not just talking to one person. I'm talking to the whole audience here. Because if I single out one person, then what about everyone else who's watching this? If 28 people click on this video, what about the 27 other people? So that's the thing, right? Like, I'm just trying to give my advice to everybody out there. Now that that has been said, guys, we did it. We did it. Like I said, around 2017, I found out that pretty much every gaming channel on the platform was a PC gaming channel. They used a computer. And they had fancy DSLRs. They had these crazy mics. Stuff that I just couldn't afford. There was no way. But I still said to myself back then, I got this crazy cheap keyboard that I found laying around. And I went on the channel and I made a video with no clue how I was going to get any of this. But I told everybody, hey, this will be our keyboard and we will get a PC. We will get a monitor, we will get a camera, we will get a mic. And I had no clue when or if that was even possible. Back then, I was very young, and I believed if I was told we can't do that, then that was the end of it. Nowadays, search for alternatives, but that's a whole different thing. Long story short, we did those things. We got the mic, we got the camera, we got the computer, we got the monitor. We did it. Now, this year is bittersweet because, first of all, Subnautica 2 was supposed to come out this year. And yes, I am ranting about this again because I'm quite annoyed. Subnautica 2 was supposed to come out this year. And I kicked off the channel by filming Subnautica 1 back before it was out.
Oh my god!
On Xbox, it finally came out in like 2017 and you could play a bit of it. It wasn't quite early access still, it was pretty much released at that point, but it was still technically early access, but it was, anyway. I started off the channel with that game and Minecraft and Hello Neighbor when it fully came out. Those were the 3 games that I played on the channel repeatedly. That's all I had back then. I didn't have the money to buy the latest and greatest games. I could only play what I had, which was Minecraft, Subnautica, and eventually Hello Neighbor when it fully came out. The days when I couldn't film those games, I was making videos, vlogs, dumb stuff outside or in the house, whatever. That's all I could do. And now that we're in the 10th year of the channel's first decade, Subnautica 2 got revealed. And it was supposed to come out in early access, I believe, this month. And it's not anymore because of problems in management. The founders of Subnautica were fired by a much larger company who now owns Unknown Worlds. And they themselves, Crafton, delayed Subnautica 2 till next year. A game that is an early act. And the reasons for that was that it's not ready. It doesn't have enough to be the greatest mighty sequel to Subnautica 1. But the thing is, Subnautica 2 is supposed to come out in early access. So it's not meant to be the mighty sequel yet. It's not meant to be finished yet. It's supposed to be worked on progressively for the next 2 years, given feedback from the community as they play the new updates and features. So that really made me upset because there's really no reason. And it was really important because, like I said, this is the channel's first decade, and I was gonna do a massive upgrade this year regardless. But I was kind of hesitant on it because, you know, there wasn't like a whole lot coming out. But then Subnautica 2 got revealed, and we found out it was going to be this year. And then I made the decision to do a huge upgrade to the channel in preparation of that game in the 10th year of the channel. It was all going to come together perfectly, full circle, and it would have been amazing. Started off on YouTube 10 years ago playing the first Subnautica game. And now we start a new era, a new phase of the channel in the 10th year, the first decade, playing the sequel in early access. It would have been perfect. But like I said, it got delayed. But I got all the upgrades before that. And I'm quite happy I did that. But yeah. The upgrades I did was I got a brand new mic for you guys. A really, really good mic. The Blue Yeti gets a lot of hate. I got no clue why. The internal components aren't the best thing in the world, but if you hook it up to the software, full decade of doing YouTube, and I'm still making terrible mistakes. As I was saying, if you hook it up to the software, Logitech, it's pretty good. It's really, really damn good. Only complaint is it doesn't have a self noise filter, so I can't like run the AC. It won't muffle that out. Noise from the hallway doesn't get muffled out, so I have to wait for people to move on. It's crazy. But that's it. And so I got a new mic, and I got a capture card, which I now use OBS to screen record my gameplay in full native 1080p 60 frames per second, and it looks beautiful. Amazing. And that was all in preparation for Subnautica 2. But I was also planning to do that for this year anyway. Going into the year, I'm like, okay, we need an upgrade. It's a decade. It's the first decade of the channel. 10 whole years. We need to do something. And so, that was the plan. Capture card, a new mic, and using OBS. And that was it. My very first USB mic. I've only ever used 3.5mm mics plugged into the camera. And now I'm recording my audio separately and merging and syncing. It's weird. So, you know, that really sucks that it got delayed. And might I also mention, when Subnautica 1 was in early access, early access, and YouTubers were filming it like 8-Bit Ryan, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, I wanted to film the game so badly, like those guys were doing. Like, I kid you not. I wanted to do that. I didn't have any of what you see today. I didn't have this or this camera. Didn't have any of this. I had a tablet, and that was it. I didn't even have a phone. And I just wanted to film that. I had no clue how to screen record. And that Xbox I used to play on back in those days is sitting right over there. And you can screen record on that Xbox with a USB. It works perfectly fine. Back then, I could have been making those videos. Isn't that insane to think about? I wanted to be making those Subnautica videos just like them. And I didn't get to. But now I can do that with Subnautica 2. And we can still do that next year. But it won't be in the 10th year, which is okay. It's fine. But again, it would have just been the most perfect thing to have it all full circle. But here's something else. I also wanted to film the Hello Neighbor alphas on the channel back then. Hello Neighbor was in Alpha 1, I believe 2016, but the pre-alpha came out 2015, 14, something like that. I think either that or the pre-alpha came out at the beginning of 2015 and that got updated, 2016. Either that or the pre-alpha came out in 2016 at the very beginning of the year and got updated later on. That's probably what happened, actually. Nonetheless, I still really wanted to film the alphas, especially Alpha 3 and Alpha 2 as well. Those two alphas are my favorite. But, again, didn't have a computer, couldn't do that. That was a huge problem. I could have made professional videos on the Xbox back then, but I didn't have a PC, so I couldn't edit them. So that's another thing that I didn't even think of. I couldn't have edited them back then because I didn't have a PC. But that's okay. I still wanted to play the Hello Neighbor Alphas back then. And now, Hello Neighbor 3 is looking to be the next best Hello Neighbor game. The prototypes have been amazing, and we've technically been playing the pre-alphas. It's for the third game, and that's been so cool to have an audience and this professional setup and be playing that on the channel and just doing those things. It's crazy. Now, of course, half of the people I used to watch playing the Hello Neighbor Alphas aren't doing that anymore, which is unfortunate. I feel like I'm the only one who is doing that right now. But I know when Subnautica 2 comes out in early access, everybody will be playing that. And I'm just going to say it, Subnautica 1 is my favorite game of all time. So I just really need this sequel to work out. And if it doesn't, like, well, I don't know. It's going to take a lot of nerve to say this, but I'm not sure if anyone will be more disappointed than me. Maybe as disappointed, probably. I'll probably be the most disappointed that you can get. So, there's still hope, but it's small. But with that being said, guys, in these types of videos, I don't typically mention what it's like to be at this point, because I don't actually know until the following month. It takes a month for these things to sink in for me. You know, when we hit 500 subscribers, that wasn't a punch until like the first month, and then I was like, holy moly, we're halfway to 1,000. We're at 500 subscribers right now. What the heck? So when we did that, it was crazy, but it took like a month for it to sink in. When we got to 150,000 lifetime views, that took 2 weeks to settle in. So like, that's the thing. I'm not going to fully realize that we're a decade into doing YouTube until like next week. And then I'll make a post like, yo guys, I just put some pieces together and we're a decade into doing YouTube.
No, really.
With that being said, guys, I can tell you currently it feels pretty insane. One thing I've always tried to do is remember every single moment of doing YouTube. And I can still fondly remember making those videos on my tablet and being so young and just thinking YouTube was this cool, crazy thing.
Yeah, that's mine. And welcome back to another video. Until I realized I couldn't upload with my phone.
This is French vanilla creamers. They give it a little bit of flavor. And now understanding how it all works is still crazy to me. It didn't shatter anything. It just made it even more fun for me. So, you know, a challenge is a challenge, right? It's like a surreal, eerie feeling. And that's what I'm going to try and emulate in this intro for the video. So, hopefully you guys watch that and didn't just skip over it. I see you. But truly, the thing that's currently on my mind and will likely be circling through my mind for the next 10 more years is, where will we be in the next 10 years? Will we still be at 600 subscribers? Something like that? Will we grow more? Will we shrink? Will YouTube be gone? Will we all be gone? It's crazy, but I try to keep it on the YouTube topic. Where will we be on YouTube in 10 years? What will the channel look like? Will the Cryptic Miner evolve more, or will it stay where it is? Because I'd like it to evolve into something more. And I have a good plan for that, but it's going to take some time. Maybe it'll finally be done in 10 years. But we are in a new phase of the channel currently. We're in phase 2. I had this project in 2021 called Project Vision. And again, that project was to get every item that you see on screen, and every single time we got one of those items marked the end of a season. The camera and the mic were 2 things together, but after that I'm pretty sure it was just solo items. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 items, 10 seasons. And after all of those items were gotten and It was the 10th season. That project ended. And then we moved on to Project Encryption, which instead of focusing on items, it was focusing on the audience and improving the content, the editing, the flow, everything was going to be evolved in Project Encryption. Now, we are doing phases. We just did phase 1, which is technically 10 seasons of Project Encryption, and in each season we evolve the channel a bit. But I haven't been able to film season 5 because traversal. So that's, it's visually you can't really see how much we've evolved yet, but we're in phase 2 right now. After we got the capture card and the new mic, we swapped to phase 2. So we're in phase 2 now of the channel, and ever since I made It's Time, from that video moving forward has been phase 2. And it's going to be crazy. It's going to be huge for the channel, and I hope that you guys stick with me for that because, again, who knows where we'll be in another 10 years. Now I'm going to film an outro for this video because I don't know if I'm going to end it there or if I'm going to give this video an outro. I may just do a dramatic ending and then just peace out, So we'll see. Maybe I'll put this at the end of the outro. Whoever stays long enough will see this. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. 10 years is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Tons of progress, tons of time, tons of everything. So thank you guys for supporting, following, and supporting. It's a dream come true for me, truly. I don't know what else to say, except I'll see you in the next one. Peace.